My dearest friends and esteemed colleagues, I ask that you join me today in my study to discuss the life of a man who forever changed the field of psychology for the better. That man's name is Solomon Asch. So as we take this stroll down memory lane and reminisce about Dr. Asch, join me and pour your finest glass and reminisce. It was a brisk September day in Poland. The 14th, if I might be correct. 1907. A young Jewish family was expecting their child. They had no idea that that child would change the landscape of psychology. Dr. Asch was born that day, Solomon, his name. Yet, while born in Poland, he wouldn't live there forever. 13 years of age he was when his family moved to Manhattan. And this was a Manhattan at the time that was largely immigrants. And they were segregated into their communities. For these reasons, it was very difficult for Dr. Asch to learn, this young Solomon, to learn how to speak and learn how to read English, as it was not his native language. But it was through the literary works of Charles Dickens that he found his way into the beauty of the language, and also, eventually, into the science. He first pursued his first degree, his bachelor's, at the City University of New York. Upon completing it, he decided then he would like to pursue more. He wanted more knowledge. These pursuits led him to Columbia University, where he then received his master's and his PhD. It was during his time there that he began to think about the two areas which he would eventually research and become very integral to. Those areas were social psychology and Gestalt psychology. After his completion of his PhD and his doctorate, Solomon Asch then took his first faculty position at the University of Brooklyn. After his time in Brooklyn, he then spent 19 years at Swarthmore University in Pennsylvania, leaving his home state of New York. While there at Swarthmore, this was the time of great socio and political unrest. And it was during this time of socio and political unrest that Dr. Asch decided, there's research to be done here. I need to do something. So as he continued to think, he couldn't help but reflect back upon the nature of Nazi Germany and the mindset of people to blindly follow the leader, but also to work in this disagreement with who they were and who they are because of others. This gave rise to what is widely considered Dr. Asch's greatest study, is this Asch line study, in which the participants were required to compare, does this line match which one of these three lines? But the trick to the process was that Dr. Asch arranged for three people to give incorrect answers, the same incorrect answer, mind you, and leave this one participant to think, do I agree with the people around me, or do I say what I know is right? And while this is a huge contributing factor to social psychology, it's more than that. Rather, this is a dialogue and a reflection upon the nature of man, upon the nature of who we are as people, and how we relate, and why we do what we do. This, in its essence, was Dr. Asch's true accomplishment. Not simply the psychology component, but the analysis of man, of life, of woman. After his 19 years at Swarthmore, Dr. Asch left and taught at Rutgers and also taught at the University of Pennsylvania, ultimately retiring in 1979. After this, he was around and lectured other places, of course, Harvard and MIT or some. But that was his final day, truly being a full-time faculty. He accomplished so many great things, and it's easy to sit here and think about what he did as a researcher, what he did as a man, what he did as a humanitarian. But Dr. Asch was more, and I'll tell you this, that when he passed away on the 20th of February 1996, at the ripe age of 88, there was more to his life than simply his research. He was survived by his lovely wife Florence, his son Peter, and his grandchildren Eric, David, and Lori. And it was those lives who he truly touched. While many remember him as this strong researcher, as this man that contributed to the field of psychology, Dr. Asch was more than that. He was simply a man. He was a beloved father. He was a beloved husband, friend, teacher, brother, grandfather. The world is a better place for having known him and having had him in it. And now it is forever changed by the good work that he did. While he was just a small light in the world, that small light cast a monumental shadow. Dr. Solomon Asch, he was not the man that we deserved, but he was the man that we truly needed. He will be forever missed.